Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and the first video of my channel. Today we are going to look into Flexi-cap mutual funds. Now this is a very popular mutual fund category which has exploded in popularity as well as assets under management over the last few years. We are going to go into what the term Flexi-cap means, what are its benefits, and whether these kind of funds are right for you. The purpose of this channel as well as this video is to explain mutual fund concepts in a very simple to understand manner. And the target segment for this video as well as my channel are people who are new to the world of mutual fund investing and who want to learn the basics of mutual fund investing before they take the decision to invest in mutual funds. Now, my name is Paresh. I am an NISM 5A certified and AMFI registered mutual fund distributor. This is my ARN 334516. On the right hand side of every slide, you will see this QR code. Okay, you can scan this QR code, download the Funds Bazaar application, and start investing in mutual funds. If you like a certain category of mutual funds that we would be discussing in various videos. I will also give the link to download the app as well as the link to the website where you can register yourself and start investing in mutual funds. You can check the description of this video for that. So before we begin, this is the standard disclaimer. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risk. Read all scheme related documents carefully. The past performance of the mutual funds is not necessarily indicative of future performance of the schemes. I will leave you all with this slide for a few seconds before we move ahead. Okay, so when a new mutual fund investor goes to the website of a mutual fund company or goes to any other platform, they get confused, right? Because there are just too many fund categories. Some of them I have listed here. There is arbitrage fund, there is hybrid debt, mid cap, focused, ELSS, multi cap, large cap, small cap, equity savings, hybrid equity. What are these categories, right? How do you understand each of these categories and whether they are right for you or not? The purpose of this channel is to go into the basics of each of these categories, and then probably as a newcomer to the world of mutual fund investments, you probably would be far better equipped in making the right funds decision. So first of all, what are different types of caps? Okay, so you keep hearing these phrases, large cap, mid cap, small cap. So what do you mean by cap? Now, cap stands for capitalization, which means market capitalization. Market capitalization is a very simple mathematical formula. Market capitalization is equal to number of shares into price per share, right? So all the companies in the stock market are listed in decreasing order of their market capitalization. What does that mean? Company with the highest market cap is ranked 1, and the company with the lowest market cap is probably ranked 5,000 and above, depending on how many companies are listed on that particular stock exchange. So large cap companies are basically the top 100 companies by market capitalization. So these are typically companies like Tata, Reliance, Birla, these kind of big companies, L&T, because their share price and number of share outstanding are so large that their market capitalization typically runs in thousands of crores. So top 100 companies are large cap. The next 150 companies, okay, so rank 101st to 250th are called mid cap companies, right? And companies ranked 251st and beyond are called small cap companies. This is a very, very simple framework, but it is very important that every mutual fund investor understands this framework so that you know where your money is going when you put your money into, let's say, a mid cap fund, right? Mid cap fund, when you put your money into a pure mid cap fund, the fund manager can only invest in the mid cap companies, which means companies which are ranked 101st to 250th by market capitalization. Similarly, for pure small cap fund, when you put money into a pure small cap fund, the fund manager can only invest in those companies which are ranked 251st and beyond by market capitalization. Very simple framework, but it is very important to understand. So what is a flexi-cap fund, right? So flexi-cap fund is basically free to invest across market capitalization, which means the fund manager can invest the money in any proportion into any of these large cap companies, mid cap companies, or small cap companies. There is no restriction at all on the fund manager. So, what does it mean? You can capture the growth of different indices in a single fund without category restrictions, right? So, very important to understand this difference. Again, I'm repeating, when you put your money into a mid cap fund, a pure mid cap fund, that money can only be invested into 150 companies. But when you put your money in a flexi cap fund, that money can basically be invested in any company that is listed on the stock market, right? So if there are 4,000 plus companies listed on a stock market, if when you invest in a flexi cap fund, the fund manager can invest in any of those 4,000 companies in any proportion. There is absolutely no restriction on the fund manager, right? So why choose flexi cap funds, or what are the benefits of flexi cap funds, right? So first is that there is a dynamic shift between large cap, mid cap, and small cap segments of the market, which means the fund manager, as I explained, the fund manager can choose to invest your money in any combination of large cap, mid cap, and small cap companies, right? The second is diversification. You can invest in top 500 companies. If you put your money into a large cap fund, the fund manager can only invest in the top 100 companies, right? So the diversification is increasing. Instead of just top 100 companies, now the fund manager can actually invest your money into any of the top 500 companies. In fact, companies ranked below that also, but typically flexi cap funds will invest mostly in only the top 500 companies. The third point is risk mitigation. Now see, all these benefits are interlinked, because there is a dynamic shift among various categories or segments of the market, there is a diversification, and because there is diversification, there is risk mitigation. How does risk mitigation work in a flexi-cap fund? So in case of a bubble in one or more categories, the fund manager can shift the holdings to other categories, thereby protecting against market crash and market cycles in specific categories. Now, what happens is that, oftentimes you must have heard, right, that there is some overvaluation in the mid cap segment, or there is overvaluation in the small cap segment. And in case of, too much overvaluation, there is a very high probability of crash. Now, if you put your money into a pure mid cap or a pure small cap fund, right, and if there is an overvaluation, the fund manager can't do much about it, right? If you are putting, let's say, 50,000 rupees in a small cap fund, and there is already overvaluation in the small cap segment, the fund manager still has to invest whatever money you put into the small cap category of the market itself. But in case of a flexi-cap fund, the fund manager can dynamically shift their holdings across categories. So if there is an overvaluation in, let's say, small cap segment, the fund manager can decide, I will reduce my exposure to the small cap segment and I will shift my holdings to the large cap, or to the mid cap segment, and vice versa. There could be an overvaluation in mid cap also. There could be an overvaluation in large cap also. In that case, the fund manager can safely shift those holdings to other categories where there may not be too much of an overvaluation. So basically, these three points are interlinked, right? So because there is a dynamic shift, there is no restriction on the fund manager to invest only in a certain category of the market. There is diversification, and because there is diversification, there is risk mitigation. So let us look at how FlexiCap as a category has performed over the last 10 years. Now, these are various categories, of the equity mutual funds. So there is large cap, large and mid cap, flexi cap, multi cap, mid cap, small cap, value oriented, ELSS. Likewise, there are many others. I only highlighted a few. So if you look at the equity flexi cap performance, this category has delivered an average return of 12.53% over the last 10 years, right? And note that this is an annualized return, okay? So on an annualized basis, the category has given you a return of 12.53%, right? Now, note that this is a category average. So obviously there will be funds which have given returns more than 12.53, right? Depending on which AMC or which fund you choose. And there would be funds which are given an annualized return over 10 years of less than 12.53 also. But as a category, flexicap funds have delivered these kind of annualized returns over the last, say, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 years also. Last 5 years is around 20%, but this boom is typically due to COVID. And anytime we are looking at past performance, it is mandatory to remember that past performance is not indicative of the future, right? So just because equity flexi cap funds have given you an annualized return of 12.53% over the last 10 years does not mean over the next 10 years they will also give 12.53. It could be less, it could be more, but that is one thing that you need to keep into mind. So these are some of the top performing flexi-cap funds. You know, uh, so there is this Motilal Oswal flexi-cap fund. See, every mutual fund company will have a flexi-cap fund, right? So if there are 50 mutual fund companies, 50 plus, there would be 50 plus flexi-cap schemes or funds in the market. I have only highlighted a few which have been top performing for the last, say, 3 years or so. So Motilal Oswal, there is Parag Parikh FlexiCap Fund, Invesco, HDFC. These are some of the top performing funds in the market in the FlexiCap category. Look at their 3 year returns, right? So it ranges from, say, 20.68 for Parag Parikh to 24.2 for Motilal Oswal. Another important point to highlight here is that look at this AUM, which is, this is assets under management for Parag Parikh FlexiCap Fund. It is well over 1 lakh 10,000 CR. So that is the amount of money which is invested, or rather, that is the valuation of the money, current valuation of the money that was invested in this FlexiCap fund over the years. Note that this data is as of August 6, 2025. The AUM numbers obviously changed on a daily basis. Uh, so these are some of the top performing FlexiCap funds. Now let us look at what I mean by diversification in FlexiCap funds. We looked at diversification as one of the main attractions of investing in a FlexiCap equity fund. So this is the portfolio disclosure of HDFC FlexiCap fund, and the data is as on June 30th, 2025. Now look at the industry column, right? So the holdings of this fund or the money that is invested in this fund is invested across these categories, across these industries. Now, these are just top 10 industries. There would be some industries, which are not there in this table, right? So the money that you invest in a FlexiCap fund is invested across industries. And since there are so many industries, even if one or two industries, underperform, their performance will be averaged out by other industries which are performing better. So that is the one level of diversification which you get in a flexi-cap fund, which is the industry diversification. The second and more important diversification that you get in flexi-cap funds is the market cap segment. So look at large cap, mid cap, small cap, and let us look at how their allocation has changed. Look at large cap. The allocation was 73% of total AUM in Jan 2025. It has steadily increased to 73.8% by June 2025. Right? Look at mid cap. It was at 4.4% in Jan 2025. It has steadily decreased to 3.4% in June 2025. Look at small cap. It was 10.3% in Jan 2025. It has steadily decreased to 9.8% in June 2025. These are the rows that I'm looking at, right? So see how the fund manager is dynamically changing the composition of the fund, right? Because there are fears of overvaluation in mid cap and small cap segments of late, the fund manager has systematically reduced the exposure to these segments and increased the fund's exposure to large cap segment. So this is the biggest benefit of investing in a flexi cap fund. Your money is invested across industries, across market cap segments, so that even if one or more of the industries or one or more of the market market cap segments underperform, their performance would be balanced out by the overperformance in other industries or other segments, right? So this was in brief about flexicap mutual funds. Now, are you a first time investor, in the mutual funds? So just to kind of debunk a few myths, investing in mutual funds is a fully online process these days. You do not need to fill any forms. You do not need to submit any Xerox copies. You do not need to, give checks and all that stuff. All you need to do is scan the QR code, right? Download the app on your phone, register yourself, and all you need is your Aadhaar card number, PAN card number, and a cancelled check photo. That's it. So how to invest? Scan the QR code using your phone. It will take you to Google Play Store. You can download the Funds Bazaar app. It's a very safe app. This is a very well-established mutual fund platform, and you enter your basic information like date of birth, PAN number, Aadhaar number, email ID, mobile number, and your KYC is done. Or you can click the link given in the video description. Once you click on that link, it opens this page. You see why Funds Bazaar, and over there is a section called as Open Your Funds Bazaar account. You just have to put your name, email ID, uh, and a mobile number, and click submit. You will get OTPs on your email ID as well as your mobile phone, and you enter those OTPs. Your account is created. Then you submit. Then you complete the KYC process by submitting your PAN number, Aadhaar card number, and cancel check copy, and then you are done. So if you need any help in registering on the Funds Bazaar platform, give me a buzz on this WhatsApp number. The number is mentioned over here, 97573 09269. So that was about the FlexiCap category of mutual funds. This was a very, very brief and very simple explanation of the FlexiCap category of mutual funds. Again, if you have any queries, contact me. You can download the app using your mobile phone, or you can click on the link given in the video description. It will take you to their website and you can register there. Yes, so thank you, and I will in future videos explore more such mutual fund categories. We will understand what their benefits, what their investment structure is, what their investment framework is. So happy investing. Bye.